When you walked in today, I hope you looked at the screen and saw infinite possibilities. How often have you heard that this new technology is the silver bullet to your development problems, that you can have infinite possibilities? Yet, when you actually get to using it, the famous triangle, time, budget, and features comes up, and you're constrained back to where you were. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Linq, which will hopefully give you more features, give you more time, and can't do anything for your budget problems, but at least your developers should be a little happier. My name is Rob McLean, and before I start with what Linq is, I want you to don't panic, as the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy would say. Often we see new technologies coming out from companies. Often we see change, and the sort of panic sets in. I know what I do already. I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't need yet another solution to the same old problems. Well, I'm telling you that Linq's a little different, and that if you don't panic, you'll find out why it's going to help you. What are we going to look at today? Well, first, we're going to look at what it is. So if we had the slightly more expensive and less popular Encyclopedia Galactica, what would it say about it? We'll then go on to why should you care about Linq? And then lastly, we'll look at what an infinite improbability drive, a drive that would put us everywhere in the universe, would say, because we would know the realities of actually using the technology. So, first thing I'd like to do, start off with a babelfish. Everybody here should know babelfish if you know your Hitchhiker's Guide. It's a fish that you put in your ear, and it translates an alien language into your own language, so that you can understand everyone. Linq is very similar to this. So, how do we use Linq? Well, let's say we're going to develop an application. In this case, we're going to build a paranoid android. And we need our android to get some information out of various data silos. Now, these could be a database, they could be an XML file, or they could even be just plain old C# objects, or POCers, as they like to be called. Well, as a developer, that means you have to write code to connect to it, to access it, to read that data back, and also implement the query language. So in SQL, that would be T-SQL, in XML, XPath, to manipulate that data and filter that data back. It's a lot of work and a lot of repetition most of the time. If we added a babelfish into it, all we'd have to do is do the one set of queries to our babelfish, and it could handle the rest of it. And that is exactly what Linq does. Through its query language, we speak to it, and it will connect to our data stores for us. It will translate it into the underlying query language. So why should you care about yet another query language? Well, I'd like to introduce you to a developer. Every developer I know is a worm. And before any of the developers in the room throw anything at me, let me explain why. Because developers write once, and they read many times. Even if you're refactoring your code, so changing it, updating it, you're writing it far less times than you are actually reading that code. And that is very important because you need your code to be very readable. It needs to be elegant. It needs to be able to be understood quickly by new developers, by new staff coming on board. And hopefully it never happens to you, but if you have to give it to a customer, they look at it and they don't think, oh, what a bunch of clowns we hired. Okay? Linq allows us to have very elegant code because it simplifies it and provides a universal way of working with data stores. The other nice thing about Linq is that it was developed by Microsoft, who, after all their retrenchments this year, have 91,000 employees left. A large number of them have PhDs, a large number of them are professors. And they are some of the smartest people out there, and they're the people who developed Linq. Now, you may say, I could develop a system that could connect to databases and XMLs and so on. But ask yourself, your company with far less employees, far less time, budget constraints, could you do a better job? Could you give all the same features that they could? Most likely not. Lastly, what are the realities from working on real-world projects of using this technology? Well, firstly, we need to talk about framework and tooling support. It has only been around since .NET 3.0, so if you have legacy projects, you may not be able to sort of just implement it, but going forward, all your new projects, you definitely would be able to. And tooling support has only been around from Visual Studio 2008. The last thing I want to bring up about realities is this is a technology that's built on established ideas. And as such, it seems very similar. A lot of people, the first time they see it, assume it's SQL. I like to think of this problem, or this pitfall, as if you see a donkey, if it looks like a donkey, it smells like a donkey, it sounds like a donkey, it is a donkey. But if you have a look at my picture up there, that's not a donkey, that's a plush toy. So developers often fall into this trap of treating it like something they already know. In which case, they do not get the same optimizations that they would normally do, and they could also code things incorrectly for Linq. So, in summary, Linq provides us with a way to build better code. Linq provides us with a way to build code quicker. And it is not a massive adoption process to get up and running. The pitfalls are very small for using it. I'll now take a few questions, if anyone has any questions on this.
You said it connects to plain old C# objects. Does it connect to VB objects too?
Yes, Linq does connect to VB objects. In fact, Linq is developed on the underlying common language runtime. So it is available to all .NET languages, not just Visual Basic and C#, but also things like F#, Delphi.NET, and so on. Yes?
Can you please explain to me, maybe I missed it, why would I invest in, on Linq rather than the fish?
The fish is just a nice example of what Linq would do. In the same way the babelfish can translate languages from an alien dialect to one we would understand, Linq can translate from its language to all other languages, be they T-SQL or XPath or something completely different.
Why would I use Linq instead of SQL?
Linq is not a replacement for your databases. It is just a method of connecting to your databases. If there's no more further questions, we do have a full one-day training course ready to go. And if you are interested in attending that training course, please come speak to me afterwards and we will arrange a date for that. And then in August, Microsoft is having their annual TechEd event. And I will send out mails closer to the time to remind you to go to it, because there will be a number of great sessions presented by people here on what Linq is and how to use it more effectively. I'd like to end off with a quote by a recently famous Kenyan, and it's one of his lesser known quotes. Yes, we can have elegant code and do more with less. Thank you very much.